Hi, my name is Daniel Werner. I'm from Magnolia, Texas, and I'm in my second year at the U of A. I'll be talking about the Thorncrown Chapel, which is located in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It was designed by E. Jones and was constructed in 1980. Thorncrown Chapel was the dream of Jim Reed, a native of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. In 1971, Jim purchased the land to build his retirement home, but couldn't stand keeping the beautiful view all to himself. So he and his wife decided to build a chapel on it so that the public could visit it and appreciate God's divine beauty. Shortly thereafter, Jim met E. Jones, a professor at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. Much to Jim's surprise, Jones was quick to accept the proposal to design the chapel. On March 23, 1979, the construction crew broke ground on the mountainside. However, halfway through the project, funds began to run out. Soon the building process came to a halt. Jim desperately tried to raise the necessary funds to complete his dream, but all of his efforts failed. Then one evening, Jim walked down to the aisle of the chapel and fell on his knees in prayer. He says that he prayed more seriously than ever before. In a few short days, all the money Jim needed was made available. On July 10, 1980, Thorncrown Chapel opened. The Thorncrown Chapel is a perfect icon of Jim Reed's life. Since then, over 6 million people have visited this little chapel on the hillside. Thorncrown has won numerous architectural awards. It has been featured on television programs such as NBC Nightly News and the 700 Club. Almost every major magazine in the country has carried a story about the chapel, including Time, Newsweek, and Parade. I'll be describing the Thorncrown Chapel in a formalistic manner. The Thorncrown Chapel has a very geometric design due to the complex infrastructure. It also has great symmetry and a very vertical look. Though it looks like an open-air structure, the chapel is glass enclosed. The chapel rises 48 feet into the sky with over 6,000 square feet of glass and 425 windows. Its dimensions are 24 feet by 60 feet, so it is a very narrow building. The Thorncrown Chapel was constructed mostly of wood and other materials indigenous to northwestern Arkansas. The only steel in the structure forms a diamond-shaped pattern in its wooden trusses. The building has a native flagstone floor surrounded with a rock wall, which gives the feeling that the chapel is part of the Ozark hillside. E. Jones first met his mentor, Frank Lloyd Wright, in 1949 at the AIA annual convention in Houston, where Wright was to receive the gold medal. Wright's most lasting influence on Jones's life would be in the application of principles of organic architecture, such as simplicity of construction, use of native materials, attention to crafted details, and seamless integration of building to site. The inspiration for Thorncrown Chapel was Sainte-Chapelle, Paris's light-filled Gothic chapel. Jones admired the way the windows in Sainte-Chapelle allowed the light to pour in from all directions, not only lighting the chapel, but symbolizing God's omnipresence. Fay affectionately labeled Thorncrown's style as Ozark Gothic. The wooden supports and the light streaming through the windows are constantly changing colors and patterns on the floor of the building. Between this and the continual change of the outdoor view from season to season, this chapel on the hillside is actually a very dynamic place. Some other noteworthy works of Mr. Jones's located in northwestern Arkansas are the Peace Fountain in front of the Union and the Mildred B. Cooper Memorial Chapel in Bella Vista, Arkansas. I chose Thorncrown Chapel as my video project because it is very close to the University of Arkansas and because it is a very important building. People come from all over the country to get married, take a tour, and just enjoy the beautiful view. I also appreciate that it looks completely different every season because it looks depend on the weather so much.